Panama is a country without banks tonight and almost no cash. The president asked for another contra vote, and Gephardt and Dukakis fight their way towards Super Tuesday.
NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Well, now we'll see if the Reagan administration's latest plan for getting rid of Panama's General Manuel Noriega works. By shutting off U.S. dollars, the administration hopes that Panamanians will get so angry they'll force out Noriega. As NBC's Dan Molina reports now, the anger is building tonight.
For the people of Panama, today was the day when their economic crisis became real. They began running out of money. Like all businesses, grocery stores are demanding cash only, no checks or credit cards. This is payday for these construction workers. Their bosses want to pay them by check since so little cash is available, and the workers don't like that one bit. The government has ordered banks closed indefinitely because they cannot do business. Panama runs on American dollars, and the United States has stopped sending them. It's an unprecedented turn of events that leaves this woman wondering how to make her house payment.
Well, I don't know what to do now, because when things happen so suddenly, you'll have to think what you're going to do.
At this jewelry store, more frustration.
We don't know what is going to happen with the money of Panamanian banks. It's money that is not worth now any value, no checks. Checks are money, paper money that have no value today.
Operations at the Panama Canal are normal, but only because special procedures are being put into effect. The fees ships pay for using the canal normally are processed through branches of U.S. banks here. Today, those banks are simply guaranteeing that the payments will be made. Monday, paychecks will be passed out to canal workers, and all these checks will be cashed by the U.S. Panama Canal Commission, but the commission only has enough cash on hand for one payday. The 4-day general strike is over, but today, this spontaneous walkout stopped work at a grocery chain warehouse. The workers were outraged when Panamanian customs inspectors arrived in force to inspect their operation. The employees felt they were being harassed because they'd joined the general strike earlier in the week. Until today, all the protesting against the Noriega regime had been planned. Now a crisis with serious, immediate consequences for Panamanians is beginning, and they're responding with anger and genuine concern about their future. The State Department has advised all U.S. citizens to stay out of this country. Dan Molina, NBC News, Panama City.
The administration has plans for other pressure on Noriega as well, and here to talk about some of them tonight is NBC News White House correspondent Andrea Mitchell. Andrea, what about the use of other countries in terms of pressure on Panama?
Well, Tom, the administration has talked to Japan and to European countries to stop them, to ask them not to bail Noriega out. They also have the power here to stop the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and the Inter-American Development Bank from helping Noriega. What they can't control, though, is whether Noriega would dip into his own money to help out his government and keep it going, or whether he would get help from the Colombian drug cartel. Now, the most likely step by the U.S. is to freeze those monthly payments to the Panama Canal Commission. And early next week, the president will have to decide whether to invoke emergency powers and freeze all U.S. bank payments to Panama.
Is there some concern at the White House that all of this could backfire, Andrea, that the United States could look like a big, brutal Goliath stepping on a tiny little David?
Exactly right. There's great concern here about a possible backlash, and also concern, Tom, about appearing helpless if they try to topple Noriega and fail. And that's why the administration is against a broad trade embargo, as has been proposed by some in Congress, and instead wants to squeeze Noriega by targeting his government's finances alone.
Thank you very much, Andrea Mitchell at the White House tonight. Another Central American issue. Richard Lugar of Indiana and 5 other senators, Democrats as well as Republicans, say they plan to introduce a new bill for Contra aid next week. President Reagan also appealed for a new vote. A Democratic bill providing just non-lethal aid was defeated in the House last night, and today House Democrats blame that defeat on Republicans and warn that action on any new aid package for the Contras could be delayed until at least June. Also coming up here tonight on NBC Nightly News, Jim Bitterman in Israel on the decision of the Israelis to deny journalists access to parts of the embattled West Bank.
But not everybody here knows.
And Betty